Now, this again, thanking this Greek uh, uh, reporter for a little background on Stoicism. And Stoicism, in other words, it's just it's kind of an ability. I think I found it very helpful to look at life philosophically because um, we cannot, or at least myself, sometimes I find some things difficult to accept, and I just have to step back, think about it, calm down. And I noticed that I learned that really the Stoics were very much talking about uh, coming to grips with our character defects. And, actually, as a Boston Irish Catholic, uh, I mean, religion, Jesus Christ, Christianity has always been about us uh, learning and developing, trying to be better people. So uh, I found a lot, well, I've been able to relate. I understand what uh, some of the great philosophers, Stoics in particular, have tried to suggest. And it's about maximizing positive emotions, reducing the negative, and I've learned that I need to look in the mirror, consider where I'm wrong, and to try to change and grow. And just a couple more quotes from the Greek reporter on the Stoics. No man is free who is not a master of himself. And actually, if I'm not honest about myself, if I don't understand my weaknesses, well, I'm going to be gullible. Uh, Another one is, and if you've lived an interesting life, and myself having an interest in politics, and they say politics is about promoting oneself, and principle is about trying to become a principled or better person. We can run into conflict, and sometimes I found that I'm just as greedy as my enemy, and then other times, I just need to step back and again look at the truth of my own motives and try not to be a person who is very shallow or petty. I tried not to be like an enemy. And here's another one that I absolutely love, which is seek not the good in eternal things, but in yourselves. And it has been my experience that by communicating with other people who are on a spiritual journey and really are willing to open up and talk truthfully, um, well, I'll tell you what, I find a loving God, and I'm going to say it's virtually like a heaven here on earth, and I'll tell you, it's an interesting adventure. And another Stoic, now I think that it could have been, if it wasn't Socrates, it was Marcus Aurelius, who was emperor uh, of the Roman Empire. That means that he was the man. One of them said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you'll find power. So there is such a thing as a concept that is referred to in that serenity prayer, which I'll tell you what, it's about powerlessness. We cannot control everything, and that's the size of it. So now, equally, there's another website of Socrates quotes that I'd like to thank. And here we go. The only true wisdom is knowing we know nothing. And sometimes when I start getting high on my own supply, well, I tell you, I really ultimately I get my comeuppance there, and find out I got a lot to learn. And a great thing about talking and debating with others, and I believe this is a blessing of democracy, is that we learn about other perspectives on the events. We could all go to a baseball game, and there's a close play, and people got different opinions. Well, I'll tell you what, were you sitting behind home plate? Were you out in the bleachers? Were you in left field, right field? It all depends sometimes where we see something from. And even Donald Rumsfeld gave us some, maybe made us laugh when he was BSing us, so he didn't want to really give us an answer. And he talked about there's things we don't know, and there are things we just don't know that we don't know because we don't know so bad. But so I got a kick out of that, even though he might have been doing a bit of BS and just wasting the press's time. He didn't want to talk about something. Now, and here's another one: the unexamined life is not worth living. And very seriously, if you don't open up with your friends, and communicate, if you don't come to learn yourself, I got to tell you what, you're going to be one very boring and unhappy person. And I'll tell you, I see a lot of that in these know-it-alls who don't accept any fact. Wow. These are, in my opinion, they're seriously sick people, and I'm a little bit tired of them, and that's one of the reasons I figured let me speak up on my belief system, because I'm generally happy, whatever happens, happens, but I am working and giving toward, people who provide hope and an inspiration for young people, because it's really a great life, I think, if we let it be. Now, and it's also Socrates, quite the teacher, who ended up being condemned to death because he was a teacher. He said, all I could do was make you think. And, sometimes the custodial job that we have is to pass along principles and the skills of some critical thinking and open-mindedness. And so Socrates, as I understand it, didn't tell people what to think, but he did suggest that we ask questions, and plenty of them. And now another little idea from Socrates that I have to love is there's only one good, and that is knowledge, and only one evil, that is ignorance. And right there, the difference between open-mindedness and accepting fact, and those who want to deny fact, everything's a conspiracy, all the rest of this baloney. They just want to believe what they want to believe, and then they talk about their right to believe anything, regardless of fact. That's a very sad state of affairs, at least. Well, that's my opinion.